Welcome to 843 TV. We are at the City Hall in Beaufort, which is quite the heartland of the area.
It is a heartland, and I want to show you this beautiful quilt that we're standing in front of. And I want to do a shout out to the Sea Island Quilters because it's beautiful. Look at the indigenous community, the historic, all the fun things to do in the low country. And we have wildlife over here.
And speaking of indigenous, our first guest is very own native of Beaufort, Mayor Billy Keyserling, here to give us an update on what's happening.
And today we have Reese Berthoff, who is the Assistant City Manager and Fire Chief. And we also have Bonnie Hargrove, who's the Cultural Director Advisory Board.
You don't want to miss all the exciting updates happening right here in the city of Beaufort, so stay right here.
Where communities come to speak at 843 TV.
.843 TV, where the Low Country comes to speak.
.843 TV,
where communities come to speak.
Welcome to 843 TV. We are always excited to be at Beaufort City Hall and of course talking with Mayor Billy Keyserling, who's been the mayor of Beaufort for a good time, long time, and always great to talk with you. And we're going to start off today. You just finished your strategic retreat.
We did. First, thank you for having me. Retreat, you know, you'd think that sitting in a room with a dozen people for 2 days could be rather tedious, but I find it energizing. And I think our council members do as well, because it gives us a concentrated effort to really look at where we've been, what resources we have, what citizens' concerns are, what our concerns are, what our staff's concerns are, and start a path forward which leads into the basic document of city government, which is going to be the budget. How do you allocate resources to do what you need? This year we changed up a little bit and I think made it a richer experience in that instead of just council at the table with staff sitting on the periphery ready to answer questions, it was a group discussion. Mm-hmm. So it really was a planning session for the city, not just the city council. And I have such a great council and we have such great staff, we accomplished a great deal. But we still get out into the weeds because this is just a part. What we try to do is we have a comprehensive plan mandated by the state. We have a civic master plan, which was our bold move forward in terms of what we would look like over a period of years. We have a strategic plan every year which drives our decision making and our budget decisions. And then last year we had a visioning session for the future where 70 some odd people from the public, from middle school students to retirees, set priorities. And what to me is gratifying is that everything sort of aligns. We know there are 3 primary issues. First is environmental sustainability. We started on fixing an antiquated stormwater system, but realized that you can't do that without weaving in issues relative to sea level rise, which is a threat to us as it is to many on the coast. One of the interesting things we learned there is that the events of rainfall are just as challenging as the events of the rising sea levels. In fact, we feel them so immediately because we have these instant bursts of large amounts of rain, and if the tide happens to be high, there's no room for the fresh water to drain, so you have to segregate them and try to hold both of them at bay.
That is, I mean, that is a challenge unto itself. So engineers are being brought in. Are you looking, where are we on that?
We've already started. We took the large 800-acre floodplain, Mossy Oaks, and found all of the hot spots, and now have a plan to develop that. So when we realize that the existing stormwater system is antiquated and not large enough to handle this new volume, we not only are clearing ditches but putting in new outfalls into the creek, but we're putting apparatus in there that can separate the pressure from the salt water and the sea level rise and the pressure from the excess rainwater, because when they collide, they flood because there's no room for the water. This isn't a matter of stopping things, it's a matter of managing the reality of what we have. The second and third are intertwined, and that is that we have, since my childhood, which was not just yesterday, we have had a lack of the right kinds of jobs that will keep natives here or natives coming back to their hometown where they would like to live and raise families.
Right.
So we've got a hard press going on finding better jobs and then aligning that with our education systems. We created the digital corridor to work on building that technology culture. We've entered into an agreement and a partnership to explore a whole cyber security using retired military people, our university, technical college, and high school students, preparing them for the huge gap nationwide. And we have an advantage because we have so many men and women coming out of the Marine Corps and the Navy who have security clearances, many of whom have tech backgrounds. Now, we're not just trying to give them jobs, those who want to stay here, but we're happy to have them, but we try to create a culture so that the younger people have something to look forward to.
And was that part of this retreat planning as well? How to integrate and how to bring up and...
Exactly.
I think that's wonderful. You
We've,
really
with
want
our
to keep...
traditional economic development, since the four mayors brought the county together to create what we call the Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation, we've made more significant strides. We've brought more capital investment. We've created more jobs in the past year and a half than probably the previous 10 years. And the lesson is collaboration, everybody working together. We all have, the four municipalities do not compete with each other, but working together, we're a lot stronger than competing with each other.
Well, Mayor, we are so delightful to get the update of what's going on in Beaufort and surrounding communities.
I can't leave out affordable housing.
Okay, well, we can talk about that.
I know that time is running, and I know I talk too much, but affordable housing is so incremental in that because we have some of those jobs, teachers, law enforcement officers, firefighters, healthcare workers, who can't afford the cost of living in Beaufort.
Right.
So to align the jobs, we need the housing. To deal with the housing, we need the jobs.
But not to cut you off, but I want to say one thing, but I'm delightful to know that it's everybody's conscious about what we have to do to solve the problems that we have in our communities. So we want to thank you so much for joining us.
Well, happy to be here and always happy to brag on Beaufort.
And we'll be right back with more A43 TV.